please ensure your microphones are off. The meeting's now been recorded and will be made available on the Council's Comhairle's website following this meeting. Before we start the items on the agenda, I have an update for members on the Antisocial Behaviour Action Plan. The draft ASB Action Plan has now been completed and will be out for consultation in February. It's hoped there will be a report submitted to the next meeting of the Board in April. And item 1 on the agenda is the minute of the meeting of the 20th of November. Are we in agreement? Yes, thank you for approval. And number 2 on the agenda is the minute of the meeting of the Civic Government Licensing Panel of 20th November 2024. Good approval? It's for noting. Okay. Declaration of interest now. Members are asked to declare any interests they have in any items on this agenda. It will be helpful if members expressed why they are declaring an interest in the item concerned. Members in the chamber, please do so now by pressing your microphone or remotely through Teams by using the raise hand function. Okay. Consumer protection and environmental health, item 4 on the agenda. It's a report seeks approval for an update of the short-term licensing scheme policy and fees and other licensing fees and procedures, and Colin Fraser will speak to this report and answer any questions. Colin.
Chair, the report is primarily an update on the short-term licensing policy. It was kind of agreed when the scheme was set up that we would bring it back to committee to review the fees and charges and other aspects of it. So we've issued over 1,000 short-term let licenses in the period. Most of these have gone through okay. There's still some that were progressing from the initial application list, but we're working through them. So the report is primarily aimed, the recommendations are to kind of speed up the licensing process as well. We have found throughout the period that applicants, it's a slow process. We're needing to kind of be in contact with them regularly to help them progress their applications. So we're looking at changes to help them to make renewals more speedily or to get them more speedily through the process. So the recommendations are in first ones there, 6.3 and 7.3 are more to do with the process, which will help speed up and ensure people apply in time for the renewals. In 8.4, we've added an additional kind of condition to short-term let licensing, which is to do with littering and waste disposal. Again, a lot of short-term users are from out with the council area. They're not familiar with the kind of waste collection schemes that we have. So it's just to ensure there's kind of adequate information and provision for users to dispose of their waste. The main part of the license of the report is changes to the fee structure. So we've kind of tried to look at the implications. They're all detailed at 9.4, the kind of comments and issues we've had throughout the period, and we've reviewed the fees based on kind of these areas. The main one that probably changed, obviously that the fee structure's changed, but the main thing we've looked at is moving the fees for home letting and home sharing applications into the secondary letting licence fee structure, which is a higher rate. That's primarily because it's hard to prove home letters and home sharing aren't doing secondary letting, and although we've had a relatively or small number of complaints, they have all been associated with home letting. So that's the main change from categories home lettings into secondary letting. We've looked at the kind of a fairer way to kind of ensure that the bigger operators are getting charged proportionately compared to the smaller operators. And a lot of short-term lets, they have more than one unit and, significant number of guests, more than the number we had under the old scheme, which was up to 7+ guests was the highest category, whereas we have some with over 40 guests. So we've kind of looked at a revised fee structure. So we've got a base fee per type of property and then a fee per guest, which hopefully captures the kind of the variances in short-term let operators that we have, whilst ensuring a fair fee. We've also reduced the renewal fee for applications, so existing hosts should be paying, on the whole, there may be one or two exceptions, but they'll be paying a lower fee for the renewal than compared to their initial license. We've increased the initial license fee to encourage applicants to get the renewal application in time, because if they don't get it in time, they'll have to pay the initial fee, which is a higher rate. So that's the kind of model we've approached, and we're looking to kind of adopt a similar process and fees for houses multiple occupation licenses as well, because they're operating a kind of a similar model. So that's the summary of it. Happy to take any questions.
Okay. Do members agree with the recommendations at 3.1? Are we in agreement? Thank you. That brings an end to this meeting, and the next scheduled meeting of the Community Safety Board will be on 23rd April 2025. Thank you for your attendance.